Hello there, fans of the morbid, the bizarre, and the highly unusual. You'll notice that my microphone has been removed from the microphone stand because I didn't want them to spray it with the bed bug poison that they sprayed in here. But the day after they sprayed, I saw five, and I saw four. The next day after they sprayed on the 30th. But then I've been sleeping so weird that I feel like there wasn't a day where I didn't see one after they sprayed. So, you know. But anyways, there's some interesting follow-ups to that. Now, I had to go back and watch a little bit of the last video because it's so convoluted. And evil and greed and lying tends to be convoluted. You don't have to have a good memory when you just tell the truth. So, I tell the landlord about my bed bug problem. He says, well, that's your responsibility. And I say, well, I don't want, he said it's your responsibility, but I will help you out with it, and I will pay $200. You only have to pay like $200 max for it. Now this is a guy, he doesn't use like Terminex or like, he uses like, the guys that fixed my window was just some random guy that, he uses just like random, the cheap labor type people. Like, I think the plumber guy is pretty cool, but he's just like a friend of his. And, he does everything in the cheapest way, man, possible. So he's telling me that, it'll only cost me about $200, right? So the guy gets here and he sprays the place down. He leaves, and then I pay the rent a few days later, and I'm talking to a landlord face to face, and he's like, yeah, he's pretty reasonable. He only charges $185. Me being me, I'm like, I'm gonna have to pay $200 max on. You're gonna help me out with however much it costs. So just to make sure I heard it right, I let the conversation go a little bit, and I said, so the guy is going to only charges $185 for both times he comes and sprays because they're so hard to get rid of. There's like a 2 week span in between spray, and he goes, yeah. So, it's kind of hard to figure out how twisted minds work, if you're a straightforward, honest son of a bitch like me. But I'm thinking. And he said he uses the guy all the time. Now, there's two possibilities here. That the guy has different rates depending upon how many rooms he has to do. It's a possibility, okay? The other possibility is that he just charges a flat rate of $185, and the landlord was going to be like, you only have to pay $185. It's, and I'm going to be like, oh, thanks, man, for, I got off cheap, and be paying the whole freight. I'll be paying for the whole thing. You know. So, and he don't tell nobody about any of the problems. And this is just a big house, and there's 4 apartments sectioned off in it. So when the bitch upstairs got the roaches, didn't tell nobody about it. I just like roaches just started appearing in my apartment, and then I've already been through that about how he lied about that. And pretended surprised that I had roaches, and then said that he had the exterminator come in the week before. He was so surprised. He's like, "Oh, you got roaches? Wow!" But then I talked to 2 of my neighbors. I haven't talked to her. I had the opportunity yet, and talked to the other 2 people, and they didn't say a word. He didn't say a word to him about me having bed bugs. This is just like a big house. It'd be like somebody having an infestation in a house and then like not telling their sister in the other room that they got bed bugs. Except for we don't go into each other's houses, but bed bugs can travel up to 100 feet. So, like I said, there's two possibilities there. That either the guy charges a flat rate. He did say that uses him all the time, so he knows what his prices are. But he might charge according to the rooms. But then they might have discussed on the phone how many rooms he was going to have to do or what the job was. So he might have been like, saying you only have to pay $200 max. And then he already knew that it was going to be $185. So, I'd be like, oh man, thanks. Thanks for fucking me in the ass, man, with no lube. I really appreciate that. You know, without even asking. I know he hasn't asked her, what her situation is. But, anyways, sorry about the excessive crudity, but the lack of sleep, a blowed up knee from doing a bunch of housework. I just took about 3 gabapentin, which my aunt that's not even supposed to be alive was just uh, ran over and dropped off the pills for me. But real painful because I got to wash everything out by hand and boil water, and you got to soak I got a bunch of dirty clothes over here in the corner. You got to clear out all your clutter. At least it's a small room, my prison, full of bed bugs. But, I don't know how the nature of the poison. I don't feel like doing it today, but I could call the guy tomorrow and ask him, But then he's a liar too because he told me that my problem wasn't bad at all. And then he told the landlord that I had a pretty bad infestation. So either, I'm just surrounded by liars. So, it's like, what's the point of talking to liars? I've never understood the point of talking to somebody that just fucking lied anyway. So the landlord could be lying about what the guy actually said, or the guy could be lying to the landlord. You don't know what the hell's up. I know that I didn't go to sleep until I don't know, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and woke up before noon. So yeah, you're not going to get the highest quality, uh, Steve. You're not going to get the high quality uh, logical acumen, dead on point, Steve, that you're usually going to get. But now here's something that I should keep this stuff secret, but it's just too freaking good to keep secret, right? Okay. There's going to be people who will hate me. They'll probably never see these videos, but they will hate me for telling you this stuff. So now that you've been properly primed, okay. Um, we grew up with a murderous father that wasn't. He didn't want us to have any power, so he never taught any of us to drive, and he would even think of buying us a car or teaching us how to drive, or he wanted all the power for himself. So, um, you know, my older sister can drive. She can actually drive, but she didn't have a vehicle. So along about I believe it was on my birthday in 2016. I had a rare opportunity to buy a really nice car for $1,000 that I had, and she could already drive. And at first, I was terrified. We almost got in a car accident, to the point where my legs were shaking so bad, she about got us all killed. The person that was in the passenger seat that was supposed to be teaching her how to drive actually pulled the steering wheel to keep us from a head-on collision, and I was in the back seat. And the funny part about that story is, I didn't know who was going to be driving. They didn't tell me. And I knew that it was a long trip, and I knew the roads, and I knew that they were dark country roads and not good for novice beginning drivers. So, I get in, I'm going to look like an asshole if I'm like, nope, I'm not supporting my sister, backing out of this fucking car because I'm looking, and I'm like the experienced driver is getting in the passenger seat, and I'm like opening the door to the back seat, and I'm like, wait a minute, this might be the last time I open a car door ever. But anyway, that was like we drifted left to center, and it was headlights versus headlights and horns, and then the passenger actually grabbed the steering wheel and steered us away, and we swerved, and then we got off the road. We didn't go off the road completely, but we swerved out of the way enough not to get killed. And then we parked and all took a deep breath and stuff. But then we went to our destination, which was this uh, girl that I really liked. That she had there was complications, like, I don't know, a boyfriend and two loathsome children. But her personally, I liked. Like, yeah, I liked her a lot. Um, but anyways, I couldn't. My legs were like jelly. I mean, I was shaking because I knew I almost died. Right. So, anyways, but that was like 5 years. I don't know how many years before. And then I would get in the car with her, and I'm realizing, like, well, she's a good driver now. You know, I'm not afraid, and she handles traffic, and um, she's good to go, right? So I get this deal on this car, plunk down $1,000 for it, and it was on my birthday. That was like a birthday present to me. It was a Hobbit birthday present. This more literary allusions. It's like on a Hobbit's birthday, he buys presents for other people. Other people don't buy presents for him. So I was like, here you go. You know, here's the keys, and park so and so at such place, or however that went down. Not sure how that went down. I probably just gave her an envelope with $1,000 in it. I don't remember. But anyways, point being is I bought her a car, and then approximately a year, and the date I always quote 12/27/17. So that would be a year and 12 days later. I'm having my nervous breakdown for the first time in 30 years. The first time she's hearing me cry in 30 years. And she's unsympathetic, saying some pretty hurtful things. And I'm not realizing that I'm having a breakdown. Or she's like, I told you I was getting dressed. I told you I had someplace to go. And I'm like, well, I can't schedule my breakdowns, is what I said to other people about it later. It's like, I didn't mean to have a breakdown. It just sort of happened. And so anyways, so you got that part of the story, right? Okay. So uh, my sister goes to work, and she has some reason she has to change chairs with somebody. Her chair broke or something. She had to change chairs at work with somebody. And the chair was infested with bed bugs. So um, this was like a year ago. So I hadn't heard anything about it. I don't keep in contact with them. I don't have no beef going with her husband. But her, of course, we're pretty much over. Uh, but so she somehow managed. This is so great. You're gonna love this. Uh, what happened was is I paid about 5 cents a bug. I figure, because I paid my brother $200 to clean my house in preparation for the scooter lady, which wasn't even necessary, but my house did need cleaned. And I don't regret. It did need cleaned really bad, and he worked really hard and did a good job. But he rode over in that car that I bought, and that car come from a house that still had a bed bug infestation. So I paid $200 for the right to have bed bugs, most likely, while the landlord is trying to say I'm going to have to pay $200 max to get rid of said bed bugs. I'm like, man, I'm going to get rid of those bed bugs I paid $200 for them bed bugs, man. I'm going to pay another $200 to get rid of my pets. So yeah, if indeed that's how that worked out, and it probably is the most likely scenario of how that worked out, because he's here all day working, and uh, my brother-in-law actually came and sat down for like 15 minutes, and I wasn't going to be rude. I think my brother wasn't quite ready to go. He had a bunch of stuff to carry and whatnot, and he was said, "What's going on here?" I went, as far as what was on TV or stuff we was watching on the computer over the TV. So he sat down there, and bed bugs are hitchhikers. And then I asked him about it. I was like, "How did you get rid of your bed bugs?" And I just put a question mark in the email, and he never answers emails. They got to be like the most They got to be about him, and it's kind of about him. So he's like, "We didn't get rid of them completely." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I explained that, yeah, they probably like. He actually said the word hitchhiker. He said, "Yeah, they're hitchhikers. He acts like, well, he don't have no memory because he did too many drugs. But he was like, yeah, they're hitchhikers. Uh, uh, my wife, your sister, got them from work. Trying to avoid using names, and um, took them home. Took them home, and then we've been fighting them for like a year, and I forgot all about it, and nobody else mentioned anything about it. People go over there like all the time, and you know, I I guess they're just were ignorant about the possibility. Like if you get one pregnant one, that's 250 other bed bugs. So that's probably what happened. Is I probably hit the jackpot. There is a possibility that there was a mating pair on either my brother from sitting in the car or on my brother-in-law when he sat on the couch. There was either a mating pair or just one pregnant female because it can lay 250 eggs. But the timeline matches up. And the timeline also matches up to when there was a bunch of people living that did. There was like a clown car living above me, and then the landlord told him, got to get rid of these people. I'm gonna throw you out of here too because you're costing me money. You're driving a water bill through the roof. So yeah, that's that's it's like I'm kind of being a good guy, and uh, like it's not like I'm not getting work for it because my brother's a worker, man. But he'd do it for a lot less than $200, and you know. So, but yeah, he was worried about doing $200 worth of work. He's like I don't feel like I did $200 worth of work. And I was like, man, you've been here for like 6 7 hours. But yeah, that's probably how I got. I probably did pay $200 for my bed bugs. I'm not really that attached to them though, and I would like to return them. I don't know what the return policy is on them, but I'm pretty much fed up with them. And slightly inappropriate story um, is I don't know if I've been bit before until last night. I felt something on my arm and it was like right here. No, no, it was right here. I didn't, they don't really hurt when they bite, but I got bit. But it's amazing the amount of blood they pull out of you. Because when I smacked it, man, there was a lot of blood. I had paper towels handy, you know. And of course, you don't sleep too well if I don't have any. I can't sleep on the couch in the living room because you want to sleep in the same spot. You want to keep the bed bugs all concentrated in a certain area so you can kill them. You don't want to be sleeping all over your house because they're going to follow you around if you're the only food source available. But yeah, that was fun. That getting bit. But I got bit while taking care of business. Yeah, that's that's just yeah. This is about I don't know 2 in the morning or something like that. I was up until 7 in the morning. But yeah, that's a little bit of a mood killer. In case you don't know that, you know. But I also got involved in like I got in way over my head last night because before that happened with the bed bug biting me in the middle of the onanistic act, um, I just I feel bad for the dude that don't that was in Afghanistan, don't have no electricity. So I opened the thing and I asked him if he needed a charge, and he was like, "I'm about 50% power. I'll be all right." And I said I could come back and check on you in an hour. And and I'm in the bedroom watching the baseball game, and I hear it tapping, on the window, and I was like, "Is that you tapping on the window?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I need a charge." And then he's out there and he's getting drunker and drunker, and then I got involved in like drama uh, with him, and uh, he got war issues. Told me a couple war stories, and which I'm not gonna tell you, but told me a couple of war stories, and but he has you know it was just bad. Let's just put it that way. He went down a deep, deep well, and I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave. I had to like ride it out. You know, I just can't. He's like it went in a bad place. Let's just put it that way. It went in a bad place, and there was drama involving us in the middle of like him and his relationship, and it was just bad. Just trust me, it was bad. And he was, yeah. So I'm still gonna buy him a cord and set him up, so he can charge his phone and stuff. But maybe not hang around him for like saying like I'll probably just be honest with you, dude. It's like 'cause he got a lot of anger and he's got PTSD, and it's like like I'll probably just be honest with you and like, man, I'll be happy to talk with you, but up to the sixth tall boy. Have a sixth tall boy cutoff, you know. But yeah, that wasn't fun. But at the same time, I wouldn't have felt right if I would have just like said like, you know what, you just left him in a bad way like that. And let's wait until it just died a natural death, whatever was going on, whatever drama was going on there. And he was like, I don't know how much longer he hung out on the porch, but we parted amicably and there was no hostilities or nothing like that. But at one point, he was like, "Don't talk to me. I got 5 or 6 people talking to me right now." And I'm like, hmm. I was texting on his phone, but I don't think you can have. I mean, I don't think he was talking like, yeah. Uh, uh. But anyways, I just thought I'd follow up with that about that the $200 thing and how it actually only cost him $185. And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to help you out, and you'll only have to pay about $200." You know, and you don't know when you're dealing with scumbags and evil people. You don't know exactly what is going on because, not to be too redundant, he could have known ahead of time. He could describe the job to the guy and knew it cost $185, and then was going to play the good guy and said, "Hey, it's not $200. It's only $185." Then I was going to be happy to pay it, thinking I was getting off easy. Or, it could have been that he really didn't know how much it was going to cost because it's charged. But I don't know. See, I don't know how that would work. And then I do know that either he's lying or the exterminator's lying, because the exterminator told me I didn't have a very bad infestation and we didn't see any bugs while he was here. And then he told the landlord that I had a bad infestation. So, due to the logical law of non-contradiction, somebody be lying their ass off. And the landlord could be like, who knows what his motivation would be for lying. I don't know. He just got one of those guileless faces, like you look at him and he's good, man. He's one of the best I've ever seen. And I told somebody about it, and he said, "Well, some people just have that gift." It's like this sincerity. Like when he actually gets surprised over the roach thing. It's like in my mind, I was like, I'm breaking news to him, and then he tells me that he had exterminators in there 4 days before I ever told him. So, you know, I could tell he was being evasive on the phone though, because he wouldn't answer simple questions like, what did they use? And, because I know other people who rant, and roach problems pretty much non-existent now anyway, and that's they're easier to get rid of. Fleas are easier to get rid of than roaches. Roaches are easier to get rid of than bed bugs. And I had a funny thought that it's like I've had four different kind of vermin in this place. I got overrun with fleas. I got overrun with roaches a little bit, not really overrun, but okay. I've had fleas. I've had roaches. I've had bed bugs, and I've had squatters, and they're all basically don't pay no rent, don't cause you nothing but grief and trouble, and they're all pests. They're all vermin. I was like, yeah, I don't know why I made that connection with the squatters from last summer, but I did. I was like, yeah, they belong in that category too, because they just kind of like, just the same way that bugs move into a place and just take it over, and what's that expression? They just post up. Squatters do the same thing. They just post up and say, "Here we are, get rid of us." And then the eviction process for human vermin uh, can take up to 90 days, um, whereas you can evict other type of vermin much more quickly. Like hopefully with the bed bugs, they'll be out of here in 2 weeks. Like you can kill fleas within 2 weeks if you know how to do it, which I unfortunately do from having pets. I always had house cats and stuff, and you get a flea problem from time to time. Roaches, um, those roach motels things worked the best for me, but there wasn't that many. There don't seem to be that many around. Squatters are definitely the worst of all vermin. They're the worst of all household pests and the hardest to get rid of. And they make the most noise, and they're the most dangerous. So, you know. But I thought, I probably told that badly due to, not sleeping. But like I was explaining to my aunt, she's like, I got some stuff that'll help you sleep. And I'm like, well, I know you ain't never had bed bugs before, but just imagine trying to go to sleep knowing that you're going to maybe get eaten up by carnivorous insects in the middle of the night. It kind of disrupts your sleep a little bit. And yeah, I have to do all this work myself, which I still have 2 weeks. Not, I got about 10 days now to do it. But what I have to do is I have to get all my clothes boiled in hot water, and I'm going to actually bag them up and seal them in garbage bags, most of them, and just keep like a couple items of clothing until, you know. So I'm thinking like maybe, they're getting reinfested. I'm washing them, and then I'm like drying out the sheets and putting them in the living room and drying them out. And while I'm drying them out, they're getting reinfested. So I was like, well, this time when I wash everything, I'm just gonna dry it out and then in a different manner, and then just seal it up in a bag and just basically have like one bed sheet, like one pair of pants, and a couple of limited amount of clothes. and then I'm gonna clear out all the clutter in the room, and and then when they come in here to spray the second time, I'm gonna have to actually sever the cord to this lamp because it's tangled up with this chair. Make sure this chair gets sprayed, and just make sure that these things are gone. You know, just make sure that they're gone, and do everything in my power. My power seems very limited right now to get rid of these things. Man, I hurt all over from all the housework, and I got that rotator cuff thing. It's really bothering me from where I fell and my arm on that chair, and my left arm's a little bit dinged up too. But you know, uh, it's a lot of work when you're talking about like washing sheets and stuff out by hand. And like I got this thing called a Wonder Wash. That's like because there's no laundry facilities here, so you just put like a couple pieces of clothes in it. It's basically just a big tube with a lid, like I don't know, like yay big around. You know, you can wash like maybe a pair of pants, two shirts, you know, a towel, fit in it, like a few things. Like as far as sheets, you can put like two sheets in there maximum, and then it's just you know you just spin it around with a handle and you just keep spinning it and spinning it, and that's how you agitate it. And, you know, then you drain it out and you put it in a rinse cycle and you drain it out and then you spin it. That's probably why my freaking arm hurts so damn bad. And then you put in your fabric softener, and that's how I wash clothes because there's no laundry facilities here. There could have been laundry facilities here. I had a killer deal lined up on a washing machine, but this guy is all about the money. So the first thing he did when he moved in here is he put a lock on the basement door. The basement used to be open. Some people were moving, and I had a chance to get a good washer and dryer for $150 for both of them. And I was like, but he won't trust nobody. You know, it's all about this to him. So like we had the two beautiful women living upstairs, the one Amazonian woman that I was infatuated with because I got a thing for like super tall women, and she was at least as tall as me and beautiful. When they were living here, they wanted to just like get the hose turned on the outside here so they could wash their cars and like wash down the house and stuff. You know, they like to wash the windows, and I always enjoyed that because they were washing my windows in the summertime in shorts and cut off shirts. So yeah, I like that too. But they would just do it with like buckets because you know, I was like, you know, I'm stupid. You know, anybody like in my position would be stupid around women. But I'd be like, yeah, I'll talk to them, you know, I'll see what I can do, you know. So I'm like, yeah, Sarah and Carrie uh, want to know if they can use you'll turn the water on the spigot out there so that they can wash their cars. And he goes, oh, I'll think about it, which of course meant no, you know. And I told him like, oh, I can like, you know, disconnect it or guard it to keep from neighborhood kids from abusing your water bill, but you know this guy, yeah. At that time, I didn't know who I was dealing with. That was many years ago when the beautiful women were living here, but that was like jackpot. They were good tenants. Of course, they didn't stay, but they were good tenants. And one girl was like only 27, the one that was like 6 foot or 6'1", the super tall, gorgeous one, and then the other one with the shorter, gorgeous one was more age appropriate. She was like 38 or 39 or something like that. But yeah, that was a nice summer at least, but they didn't stay for very long. Uh, they did not. I won't take my hat off because it's bothering me. I'll put my glasses on just for a change. I don't know how much of my eyes you can see anyway, or what the lighting is like in here. But I thought some people might find that interesting. The way that worked out is like I actually paid money to have my house infested, and the whole backstory behind the infestation, and then the Machiavellian plots of my landlord, and then all the lies involved, and then last night I got caught up in that drama, but that was kind of my own fault because I got that masochistic streak in me, and I feel bad for people that are suffering, and so I was like, yeah. And to make it worse, like I smoked either 5 or 6 cigarettes, which wasn't cool. Um, but I don't know how long he's going to be here anyway, because yeah, he did say he had warrants on him and stuff. So why am I whispering? I'm talking to the world and whispering. Uh, yeah, so that's a lot of information. That's some serious TMI. In other words, like if any of my family watch this video, I'm fucked. I don't want people knowing that stuff. It's all true. I mean, like I said, like very crudely in another video. Hey, if you don't like the truth, don't be a miserable piece of shit. Is what I said more or less. Don't act be a righteous motherfucker. I think is the way I said it. You know, if the truth is like I'm not naming any names. You know, I'm not. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm telling you that I bought a car, and that's a lot of money to me. It's like I told you what my income was on here before, and as it turns out, she still ain't driving that car. I don't know why. It's a psychological block or something. I don't know, but she failed her driver's test a few times. Some kind of psychological block, probably from her childhood or something. I don't know, but seems like she can drive completely adequately to me. But she's always, I don't know how many times she failed the test or how many times she took it or whatever, but you can take it as many times as you want. But anyways, I bought her that car, and then I picked her to have my breakdown. It just kind of happened that way. As I was like, I don't want to go through that again or talk about that, but and then she goes to work and she infests that car indirectly, and then my brother comes over here in that car and infests my house with the most notorious vermin on the planet, and they do seem to be very hard to get rid of. Uh, I'm gonna do my damnedest though, but yeah, it's beat me up pretty bad when you gotta do everything by hand, and it's not like you can say, "Hey man, can I take a load of like my vermin-infested clothes over to your house?" Like when my aunt dropped off this gabapentin that's probably should be kicking in about now. Um, I'm like, I'll just do it like we did before, because she offered to walk it up into the house, and I'm like, no, I don't want you anywhere near there. You know, I'll just walk out and you just hand it. I'll walk out to the curb and you just hand it to me from the car. Because you don't want no part of this. It's like this is a problem that people won't help you with. And the funny thing about it is, like, another funny thing about it is many funny things about this situation. Another funny thing about it is like I was gonna ask my brother for help, and he's like, I'm not gonna help you. I'm not going over there, more or less. And he's the one that brought him over here in the first place. So really, he should come over here and help me. But I called him, because I wanted to warn him. I'm like, because I don't know if maybe the people involved in the situation, they don't understand, the communicability factor involved in bed bugs, or it's like everybody thinks it's over. But one thing you can say about my brother-in-law is he ain't no liar. He's like, we still see him from time to time, and we just smash him, and we can't seem to get rid of them. I spray a lot of poisons and stuff, so they still have them. So that's most likely where they came from. So I called my brother up and I told him, like, he's real sensitive about being accused of stuff, because, you know, when your parent has gutted people where the blame falls becomes very important. Let's put it that way. So I was like, that's something that he never grew out of. It's like, I'm not blaming you for nothing. No, you definitely did not want to, charge me to drop off some pregnant bed bug here. It's like, I didn't say that, but I said it as delicately as possible. I said, look, every time you get in that car or every time you come out that house, you need to come home. This is for your own good. You need to come home. You need to strip out of your clothes immediately and throw them in the dryer and just run them in the dryer. And the heat kills them. So whatever's on, if you picked up any, you know, you might want to even undress in the garage and have some clothes handy in the garage, or have just a pair of shorts or something, and then put the clothes in a bag. I mean, you want to be real careful. But you can actually, that's one of the hints that I picked up in my research about the things, is like you over dry your clothes and get them super hot. And the thing of it is, it has to be for like, I don't know what that does to your clothes, because I hardly even wear clothes. So, and I haven't had access to a washer and dryer in about 10 years. So I don't know what over drying your clothes does to your clothes, but that's what they said. It's like you just leave, it takes like an extra half an hour after your clothes are already dry. That heat will kill them. So that's what I told him, and I called him immediately when I kind of pieced it all together. And I told him, like, look, once I got that email back from my brother-in-law, I was like, yeah, he's like riding in that car a lot. And so everybody just got lucky, but me, really. It's probably what happened, unless I don't really think, she's a liar, but I don't really think that um, they came from upstairs. I think they came from inside the family. They came the way the landlord said, that somebody actually brought them in here. But I'm going to talk to the landlord before the guy comes in to spray, and I'm going to say, remember how when Carrie had him above me, she insisted that you had the exterminator come into my place and like look, and he said just flip it around, because I'm insisting that you had the exterminator go up there and look and see, or it's just going to cost you more money. You know, now whether I'll actually have to say, I might have to do this. And this is a guy that's bragging about his pool. I don't know if I told you about that, but during the discussion of um, I might have already told you about that diatomaceous earth stuff. If it's a natural compound, it's non-toxic, and if you add it to your pool filter, it's like it like turns it into a super filter. It's like everybody's always saying that uh, my pool's like super clear and everything. And I'm like, why are you talking to me about your pool when I'm in this slum talking about bed bugs? you know? But yeah, um, I'll just remind him of that. It's like, anyways, the thing that I'm missing due to lack of sleep is uh, if I say probably, like, you're in the right, that will prove that you're in the right, and then I'll pay the $185 that you quoted to me, because then it would be my fault indirectly, you know, and you shouldn't have to pay that bill. But I'm thinking the reason why I should do that is there's people that can live with any kind of vermin, and it's unbelievable. Fleas, whatever, they just kind of ignore it or just live with it or accept it as part of life, you know. Uh, so um, if I figure if I offer him that money, for sure that'll make it worth his while. But I'm going to try to get away with not offering him the money, because he's fucked me over in so many different ways. I feel entitled to that money, but I'm starting to feel a little bit incoherent right now, so I'm going to think I'm going to get off of here. But I think that would just be stupid on his part if he's already got the exterminator here, not to look into the apartment above me, at least, you know. And I'll remind him that I'll also have him over a barrel because I said I didn't want them exterminators coming in here and looking in my apartment when Carrie, which was the 38-year-old beautiful woman, had that infestation. And I let you do that, so I want you to go up there and repay the favor. Check that out because I don't want, if I'm gonna like be in this much pain and be busting my ass, I don't want to do it. Have to do it again because we're not tracking down the source of where they're coming from. But I don't know how logical this guy is. If it, sometimes greed and logic don't go together too well. So, but I bet you if you know, I said that if you can, I said we can find out. Yeah, I'll work it out in my head how to phrase it. I'll just probably say something like, "Yeah, we need to find out where they came from, so you don't have to spend any more money." And if you know, and I'll man up and do the right thing, and if, if we have to go there, I'll be like, yeah. If he's like resistant, he's wacky, so if he's like resistant to it, I'll be like, and then that'll prove that you're in the right, and I should be responsible for it, and then I'll pay you the $185 quote that you gave me for the exterminator this time, because I want to make sure I get rid of them. You know, that would be a hellacious thing though if I put out all that effort and then box up, encase my mattress and my box springs and everything, and still have them. And then the exterminator has to come back, then I have to pay more money when I don't have any money. He's out there in his pool, in a little sea turtle, sitting back, getting a tan, in his mansion. Well, hopefully that came out better than it seemed as far as the video, but I think that's long enough. And not much else to cover, I think, there. I talked to you like 5 days ago, the day when I was smoking a cigarette, and my voice is hoarse from smoking 5 or 6 cigarettes last night, not sleeping. Um, but when I was sitting in that chair of poison, and I did feel weird that day. And then I talked to my cop friend. That was a fly. I was waving at. I talked to my cop friend, and he said, "Yeah, sometimes I feel like a cold," because he said I just spray places myself, and he's if somebody has it, he said sometimes I feel like I'll have a cold the next day. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. But anyways, there's some beautiful irony in there, and my hands all tingling right now, which it does from time to time, which really freaks me out. Like anybody that has heart issues, but I thought I'd share that. Like, yeah, it's just so hard to sort out because the truth is like garlic to these vampires. It just scares the shit out of them and repels them. You know, it's like it's 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 like I'm just surrounded by liars. And they're not helping them. It doesn't help matters. You know, got a lying exterminator. I got a lying landlord. I know the bride upstairs is a liar because she said, oh, like 4 months ago that there was only going to be a couple extra people up there for a couple weeks, and of course, they'd still be up there if they didn't. If they got stupid with the water and they drove the water bill real high, which got the landlord's attention, and then I complained and made sure um, that there was no longer a clown car up there because there was, God, I don't know how many people there. And the I already said his name in the last video, but the Chris guy I was talking to last night, the Afghani war vet, uh, he was like, "Yeah, man, they got their own problems. You know, I figure if they got 6 or 8 people living in an apartment, I mean, they got their own problems to worry about. I mean, why should I add to them?" I was like, well, you got a more generous attitude about it than me. I didn't say. He said I wasn't going to complain to the landlord about it. I said, well, you got a you got a more generous attitude than me, of course, because of the he didn't pick up on the fact that I'm telling him like, yeah, I told him about it. I talked to I researched it and talked to the neighbor lady and talked to different people about it to find out that exactly what was going on around here, since I mostly just stay in my prison room here. But anyways, that video is probably about 20 minutes longer than it should be. So I'll watch it. I'll put it up regardless, but I'll watch it and I'll be like, when am I going to get good at this? I don't know, man. Anyways, uh, hopefully you won't see me for a while. I won't have, but I just had to tell you the backstory to that because it was so fascinating. But hopefully you won't see me for a while because that'll mean that uh, I will be occupied with other things that are. Well, first of all, that means probably means that my knee will be operational. Probably me occupied with other things, and that maybe even have a scooter and be rolling around outside in the sunshine. Speaking of vampires, I hope I don't burst into flames. And yeah, I don't know. It's like if you nobody would do it, of course. Even I wouldn't do it. But if you went back and you watched like every video, it's like of that I made like almost 200 videos now since in about a year and 2 3 months. It'll be like catastrophe, disaster, mishap, injury. It's just one bad thing after another. You know, and it's kind of funny. Honestly, that's not like laughter to hide the tears or whatever. It actually is kind of funny to me because I'm that alienated that I can look at it from the outside and I gotta be like, you gotta be shitting me, man. I paid $200 for the right to have this bed bug problem. You know, I paid a nickel a piece for these bastards at least. Uh, my initial investment, though, to become a bed bug farmer, like an ostrich farmer, my initial investment, though, if you broke it down, no, I would need a pencil and paper to do this. But if one pregnant female can lay 250 eggs, and I paid $200 for 251, so them are some pretty expensive bugs, man. That's gotta be what, like 89 cents? Like 90 cents a bug? You know? Yeah, so I probably paid like 90 cents a bug. And then I might end up having to pay 185 bucks to get rid of the bugs that I paid for. Well, I should just be able to get a refund. I don't think that's how refunds work, but I don't want to twist my mind around that. But yeah, but if I can't get him to go up there, it doesn't make any sense. But that guy don't make sense a lot of times. But he should, like keeping things a secret from. We're all in the same damn house, and you got vermin infestations, and he's keeping it secret from other people. And it's just a big house. That doesn't make any sense. But from his own perspective, maybe from his own perspective, I'm like, you need to have the exterminator go up there and check her place out and make sure that's not the source, you know. And then if he'll come back, I'll leave it up to him maybe to come back at me and say, well, that kind of leaves you culpable, you know. But then, I'd feel like referring back to the squatter infestation that he left me with last summer, which was way worse. Those bed bugs, they've never threatened my life once. They're actually one of the cleanest parasites around. They don't cause any disease. They've done multiple tests on them and stuff. But now there's these other human parasites that he allowed to uh, uh, post up in my place. They were threatening my life through my window before I could have my morning coffee, you know. And they were like threatening to make my life a living hell, and they accomplished that, you know. These bed bugs, man, they're just doing what they was programmed by nature to do, and that's to drink human blood. These uh, human vermin, these meth head bloodsuckers, uh, they were vampires, you know. They didn't sleep much. Uh, they avoided daylight quite a bit. They were mostly up all night and then sleeping in the day. But I don't think they were really blood drinkers. I think they were just poisoning themselves the way I was poisoning myself in my last video, and the way the um, exterminator was poisoning them. I need more sleep, man. This is not good. Uh, yeah, it's too bad because there's so much. I could have made it so much uh, more colorful and better video out of all this nonsense that's going down here. And then the tie-in with the squatters and they are actually a human infestation that you can't get rid of. You know, like the police are like, well, they got rights. They don't, just because they just decided to move into your house and they have rights, and I can't lock my front door. But no, none of these bed bugs have ever like told me, you know what? If I was you, buddy, I'd move and change my motherfucking last name. None of them's ever told me that. Yeah. Uh, no, none of them have ever said, "We got guns, old man. You don't have long for this world." They never done nothing like that. You know, I never had to. I never was afraid that I was gonna whack one of these bed bugs with a machete. So the infestation that he stuck me with last summer kind of pales. This infestation kind of pales in comparison to what he did to me last summer, because he created that whole situation. Um, then in the middle of it, he gives them 2 extra weeks. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You think you're gonna get any money out of these people? She's like, he actually like gave him an extension. And I'm like, I told you, man, this girl, the first time I met this girl, Jessica, she stole my battery charger, man. She's been here through the whole thing. She was the guy's girlfriend who was on the lease, who broke into the church and is now in jail. And she's taken up with this other dude that lives up there now. She is the one constant. And you're actually gonna give her a 2 week extension before you start the eviction process, thinking that she's gonna come up off some cash. This is running through my mind, but it's like I don't have the energy or the self restraint. You know, I don't want to have no antagonistic relationship with this guy. I just want to get the fuck away from him. It's like I don't want to go there. I don't want to destroy him verbally, or you know, I don't want it to come to violence, because I'm not up to violence. Like 20 years ago, I could dismantle that dude easy. I don't care if he's as big as me. He wasn't nowhere near as well trained in the martial arts And I'm talking about just in fighting, period. I say martial arts, martial meaning war, because life was a war for me growing up. So 20 years ago, I would ripped his arms and fucking legs off and beat him to death with them while he was bleeding out. But things change. But I don't even want to go there with him, and I don't want to have no fucking even go there with him verbally because it's just gonna, illogic. First of all, you can't defeat illogic. It's not possible. He'll defeat illogic. It's like the thing I was saying about him saying not that much cold air is coming up from the basement into my bedroom. Like I said in the other video, I don't remember us being gay lovers. I don't. I don't remember paying my rent that way. You've never spent any time in my bedroom at night in the wintertime. It's like you're going to contradict me on how much cold air is coming up from the basement. I don't even know if I'm making any sense at this point because of lack of sleep and 300 milligrams of gabapentin, and that's an hour even, and I like even numbers. And that shit, it ain't an hour even anymore. So, anyways, hopefully that didn't suck too bad, and I know I'm gonna be disappointed with it. But there's a lot to work with there give me my good brain back. Give me, yeah, just get me off the benzodiazepines. Give me my good brain back, and give me a little bit of health and a little bit of sanity. Oh man, I could be good at this kind of thing. I could be real good. I was confident because I was confident, and I don't, I love making those associations. I just love that shit, man. That's the joy of creation right there, man. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was way longer than it was supposed to be half an hour, so that was twice as long. So I'll be speaking to you probably in 4 to 5 days, barring any you know barring any like hails of if unless it starts hailing frogs on me or something, you know, which would be an irony in itself. If yeah, there's a story called Rainy Season by Stephen King, narrated by the person who does um, uh, damn it, that would have been great if I could have pulled that off. But uh, I'm pretty sure it's Lisa Simpson reading up. Let me see if I can just put up a link to it. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's just, anyways. I'm sorry, uh, not a good video, but I tried. I tried. I'm not gonna redo it. So, yeah. Uh, I hope you're doing okay, and thanks for putting up with me. Goodbye.